Please see important safety information for AUVI-Q epinephrine injection USP throughout or at the end of this video. It can also be found at auviq.com.
Brendan is just a super fun 10-year-old, and he loves science and reptiles, and he has a milk snake named Milkshake.
Hey, buddy.
Brendan's been an allergy kid his whole life.
Going for sub 17.
So when he was around 2, we did our first round of allergy testing. And that's when the doctors discovered that he was allergic to a number of foods: dairy, chicken, cantaloupe, peaches. The first anaphylactic reaction that Brendan had was probably the scariest day that I've ever experienced. Brendan looked at me and he said, "My throat feels really itchy." He was turning red, and I just grabbed him up and we got in the car and we headed to the emergency room. And he just looked so frail and so weak and so sick. And you just experienced a moment where, as a mom, for the first time, you're thinking about not having my child around anymore. It's a thought you never want to have.
So where is Cyprus?
So we're in the hospital and they got his symptoms under control. They said he's definitely had an anaphylactic reaction, and they gave us a prescription for steroids and for an epinephrine auto-injector. Within days, we met with our allergist, and he prescribed AUVI-Q. It is an epinephrine auto-injector for people with life-threatening allergies. About 2 weeks after the first reaction, Brendan had his second anaphylactic reaction. He said, "I feel like I can't breathe." What I should have done was stuck to the plan, administer AUVI-Q, call 911. But I didn't. I think I had convinced myself that I didn't have what it took to do what I needed to do for my child. But then he began to vomit. And so I stopped the car and I administered AUVI-Q. His symptoms began to improve and we made it to the hospital for further treatment. Everything has changed since Brendan's reactions. Today, AUVI-Q is a part of our everyday lives. It goes everywhere that Brendan goes. It talks to you and gives you voice prompts on exactly how to use it, which is really important to me because Brendan might find himself in a situation where he can't give verbal instruction on how to use AUVI-Q. Everyone in my family is very clear on the anaphylactic action plan now. Any person who's caring for him, we train them with the AUVI-Q trainer. We talk about our action plan, our very simple action plan. There's no such thing as over-communicating when you are dealing with a life-threatening allergy. I think people don't understand. I didn't understand until you walk through it, how scary and how real it is. And so you're the best person to advocate for your loved one. And don't be shy, be bold, find your voice, and you can do it.
What is AUVI-Q? AUVI-Q epinephrine injection is a prescription medicine used to treat life-threatening allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis, in adults and children who weigh 16.5 pounds or more who are at risk for or have a history of serious allergic reactions. AUVI-Q is for immediate self or caregiver administration. Important safety information. What is the most important information I should know about AUVI-Q? Always carry 2 AUVI-Q devices with you because you may not know when a life-threatening allergic reaction may happen. If a second dose of AUVI-Q is needed, it should be given starting 5 minutes after the first. If you need more than 2 doses of epinephrine for a single anaphylaxis episode, more doses must be given by a healthcare provider. Talk to your healthcare provider about when it is necessary to get medical care for further treatment of the allergic emergency after using AUVI-Q. If you have certain medical conditions or take certain medicines, your condition may get worse, or you may have more or longer-lasting side effects when you use AUVI-Q. Before using AUVI-Q, tell your healthcare provider about all of your medical conditions, especially if you have heart problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, thyroid problems, kidney problems, history of depression, Parkinson's disease, or are pregnant or plan to become pregnant, are breastfeeding or plan to breastfeed. Tell your healthcare provider about all the medicines you take, including prescription and non-prescription medicines, vitamins, and herbal supplements. AUVI-Q and other medicines may affect each other, causing side effects. AUVI-Q may cause serious side effects. AUVI-Q should only be injected into your outer thigh, through your clothing if necessary. Do not inject AUVI-Q into your veins, buttocks, fingers, toes, hands, or feet. If this occurs, go to the nearest hospital emergency room right away and inform the healthcare provider of the location of the accidental injection. Rarely, people who use AUVI-Q may get infections at the injection site within a few days of an injection. Some of these infections can be serious. Call your healthcare provider right away if you have any of the following at an injection site: redness that does not go away, swelling, tenderness, the area feels warm to the touch. If you inject a young child or infant with AUVI-Q, hold their leg firmly in place before and during the injection to prevent injuries. Ask your healthcare provider to show you how to properly hold the leg during an injection. Common side effects of AUVI-Q include fast, irregular, or pounding heartbeat, sweating, shakiness, headache, paleness, feelings of overexcitement, nervousness, or anxiety, weakness, dizziness, nausea and vomiting, breathing problems. Tell your healthcare provider if you have any side effect that bothers you or does not go away. These are not all of the possible side effects of AUVI-Q. You are encouraged to report side effects to Kaleo Inc. at 1-877-302-8847 or to the FDA at www.fda.gov/medwatch or 1-800-FDA-1088.